There is a ritual so dangerous that if performed incorrectly it could trap you in an endless cycle of terror surrounded by entities beyond your control. The Book of Abramelin is one of the most mysterious and feared texts in occult history. Its main ritual promises contact with a guardian angel and the power to command supernatural forces, but those who have attempted it warn that the price may be too high. In this video we'll uncover the true origins of the book, the chilling details of its ritual, and the terrifying stories of those who dared to perform it. Stay until the end to learn why this ritual is considered a deadly trap and the fatal mistake that could doom anyone who tries it. Grimoires have fascinated humanity for centuries. They are more than just books, they are ceremonial magic manuals detailing rituals, invocations, and secret formulas that promise access to powers beyond human comprehension. Since ancient times, these texts have been used by alchemists, occultists, and seekers of forbidden knowledge, though they have also been surrounded by warnings and fear. However, among all the grimoires that exist, one stands out for its complexity, its mystery, and the danger it represents: the Book of Abramelin. This enigmatic text was written in the 15th century by a man named Abraham von Worms, who claimed to have traveled the world in search of the most powerful occult knowledge. According to his account, it was in Egypt where he encountered a mystic named Abramelin, a sage who imparted to him a wisdom that would change his life forever. Unlike other grimoires, which contain lists of spells and enchantments to manipulate reality, the Book of Abramelin offers something far more ambitious and dangerous: a single ritual designed to establish contact with a guardian angel. It is said that this angel holds the key to unlocking transcendental knowledge and gaining dominion over supernatural entities. However, the process to achieve this is long, extremely demanding, and according to many deadly for those who are unprepared. What makes this grimoire so unique is that it does not rely on simple invocations or magical formulas like other books of its time. There are no spells for wealth, love, or protection. Instead, it presents a path of total transformation for the initiate. For months, the practitioner must undergo rigorous discipline, live in isolation, maintain strict purity, and perform daily prayers to reach the proper vibrational state that will allow them to connect with their guardian angel. Only after completing this process is the initiate capable of subjugating the 12 infernal spirits that, according to the book, will attempt to prevent their ascension. But herein lies the true danger. It is warned that any mistake, any weakness, or any lack of commitment during the process can open portals to entities that cannot be controlled. There are stories of practitioners who have attempted the ritual and suffered terrifying consequences: shadows lurking in their rooms, voices whispering in the darkness, and extreme states of paranoia. Some have disappeared, others have gone insane, and there are those who claim that their lives were never the same again. Why is this grimoire so feared? Because it is not just a book of magic, it is a test that few can endure if performed correctly. It is said that the initiate attains an unparalleled level of knowledge and power, but if they fail, they may become trapped in a torment from which they will never escape. The Abramelin ritual is not merely a process of ceremonial magic, it is an extreme journey of personal transformation where the practitioner's will and resilience are pushed to the absolute limit. Not everyone can attempt it, not only because of the physical and mental endurance it demands, but because any mistake, any weakness, or any doubt can open a door to forces that will not just destroy us life, but will haunt them until their final breath. It is said that this ritual is a path of no return, and that those who fail to complete it are never the same again. From the moment the initiate embarks on this path, their life is no longer their own. For 18 months they must submit to strict discipline, renouncing all worldly pleasures. The preparation is brutal. Isolation is absolute. They cannot interact with the outside world, must avoid all human relationships, and must reduce their existence to prayer, introspection, and spiritual purification each day at fixed hours. They must pray and meditate following a rigid schedule without interruption. The body too must be purified. The initiate must abstain from eating meat or any other food deemed impure. Alcohol, tobacco, and any substances that alter perception are strictly forbidden. They must also refrain from all sexual activity, even in solitude, as any distraction from the path can weaken their spirit and make them vulnerable to the forces lurking in the shadows. If they fail to adhere to these commitments, the ritual must be abandoned immediately, for continuing in a state of impurity not only nullifies any chance of success, but exposes the the practitioner to catastrophic consequences. The purpose of this grueling process is to prepare the mind and soul for the invocation of the guardian angel, the ritual's ultimate goal, this being, according to the book, is the pure manifestation of the practitioner's higher consciousness, the supreme guide that grants wisdom, protection, and the power to transcend human limitations. However, achieving this communion is anything but easy. The guardian angel will only manifest when the practitioner has demonstrated absolute devotion, when they have eradicated all doubt, fear, and weakness from their being. But this is where the true trial begins. Before receiving the guardian angel's blessing, the initiate must face the opposing forces that have been watching them throughout the process. There is no illumination without darkness, and in the Book of Abramelin, darkness takes the form of the four princes of hell. Lucifer, the first and most dangerous adversary, represents pride and rebellion. He does not appear with violence or threats. His weapon is temptation. He whispers in the initiate's ear, offering them power, absolute knowledge, the ability to control the world at their will. He convinces them that they no longer need the guardian angel, that they are above the rules, that they are their own god. If the practitioner succumbs to their pride and abandons the ritual at this stage, they have already failed, and the worst part, they may never even realize it. They may believe they have gained something when in reality they have lost the most important thing, their soul. Then comes Leviathan, the embodiment of corruption and chaos. Leviathan does not try to convince the practitioner to abandon the ritual. He does something far worse. He makes them doubt. He whispers confusion into their mind, distorting their perception of time and space. He makes them forget why they began the ritual in the first place. He manipulates their memories, making them question whether anything they believed was ever real, and once doubt has eaten away at their will, Leviathan drags them into a spiral of despair from which there is no escape. The third to manifest is Satan, the god of deception and destruction. If Leviathan corrupts reality, Satan corrupts morality and the practitioner's very principles. There are no temptations or promises of power here, only chaos. Satan shatters the initiate's sanity, forces them to relive their worst fears, their deepest traumas, their most agonizing regrets. He makes them experience every mistake they have ever made, every wrong decision, every moment of failure. At this stage, the weakest practitioners lose their grip on reality, falling into an abyss of madness from which they never return. And finally, Beel, the lord of perversion and moral decay, arrives. Beel does not want the initiate to abandon the ritual. He wants them to complete it, but on his terms. He seeks to lure them into the darkness, to make them surrender completely, to transform them into his servant. At this stage, the practitioner is no longer themselves. They are an empty vessel, stripped of their will and identity. If they give in to be, they become something far worse than a failure. They become the very thing they once sought to overcome. But it does not end there. The four princes do not stand alone. Alongside them exist countless lesser demon spirits that exploit the practitioner's weaknesses, feeding on their insecurities, their fears, and their suppressed desires. If the initiate fails to subjugate them, these entities become parasites of the soul, draining their vital energy and consuming them slowly until nothing remains. Only those who successfully endure these trials, who resist the temptation of Lucifer, the corruption of Leviathan, the madness of Satan, and the depravity of Beel, earn the true reward. Only they are deemed worthy of receiving the illumination of their guardian angel. Only they gain control over the demons they have conquered, wielding them as tools in their path to power and knowledge. But one question remains, one that few dare to ask: who truly controls whom? It is said that even those who complete the ritual are never the same again, because while they may have vanquished the entities that tormented them, those entities never forget. The Abramelin ritual is not just a path to enlightenment, it is a PCT with the known. Those who complete it successfully gain immense power, but those who fail face a fate far worse than mere defeat. It is said that the ritual opens a portal, and if it is not properly sealed, uncontrollable entities may remain free in the practitioner's world, haunting them forever. Failure in this ritual is not an event that simply halts the process. It is not an exam that can be retaken. Once it has begun, there is no turning back. If the magician is unable to subjugate the demons that appear in the final stage, these entities do not simply vanish. They do not dissolve into nothingness. Instead, they remain trapped within the practitioner's environment, watching, whispering, draining their energy little by little until they are reduced to of utter despair. The symptoms of a failed ritual vary, but common patterns emerge across different testimonies, many stories describe the gradual descent into madness. It often begins with insomnia and vivid nightmares, where the practitioner feels the presence of shadowy figures watching them. Then visions begin to bleed into waking life, dark silhouettes flickering at the edge of their vision, disembodied voices calling their name, an unsettling sensation of being touched by unseen hands. Over time, paranoia intensifies. The figures become clearer, the whispers turn into commands, and in some cases unbearable screams echo through the silence. There are accounts of failed practitioners who have experienced even more extreme phenomena: doors that unlock and swing open by themselves in the dead of night, mirrors reflecting figures that should not be there, objects vanishing and reappearing in impossible places. In the most terrifying cases, practitioners claim to have seen looming presences in their rooms watching from the darkest corners. Some have reported feeling an invisible force pinning them down in bed, as if something was attempting to take control of their body. But the most horrifying aspect is not the paranormal activity itself, it is the overwhelming realization that these entities are not random. They are not mere manifestations of fear or hallucinations. They are the very demons the practitioner was meant to subjugate in the final stage of the ritual, and now, instead of being conquered, they have seized control. One of the most infamous cases of a failed Abramelin ritual is that of Aleister Crowley, one of the most influential occultists in history. In the 1920s, Crowley attempted to perform the ritual in his abbey of Thelma in Sicily. However, he was unable to complete it and abandoned the process midway. It is said that afterward the house became a hot spot for unexplained paranormal disturbances. Visitors reported shadowy figures moving through the hall, strange bloodstains appearing on the walls, and an oppressive atmosphere that made it impossible to sleep. Though Crowley never publicly admitted to failing the ritual, he left the house soon after and never returned. More recent accounts from modern occultists tell of similar experiences. Some have attempted partial versions of the ritual without following all the prescribed instructions, only to report unsettling consequences: the sudden appearance of dark figures in their homes, the constant feeling of being watched, and inexplicable voices captured in audio recordings. In several cases, practitioners have exhibited drastic personality changes, becoming icy paranoid or displaying symptoms consistent with possession. There are documented cases of phenomena that align with the warnings in the Book of Abramelin: individuals who have suddenly lost their sanity, experiencing episodes of psychosis without any apparent medical cause. Others have vanished without a trace shortly after engaging with this grimoire practices. Some have been found dead under inexplicable circumstances, showing signs of self-inflicted violence, with cryptic messages written in unknown languages. One thing is certain: this ritual is not a simple esoteric experiment. It is not something to be attempted out of curiosity or without absolute commitment to every step of the process, because if the door is opened and the practitioner does not have the strength to close it, then there is no escape. The Book of Abramelin is more than just a grimoire. It is a challenge, an extreme test that few dare to face and even fewer manage to complete. Throughout history, this ritual has been described as a path to enlightenment, but also as a deadly trap for those who are unprepared. It is not just about discipline, isolation, or faith. It is a direct confrontation with the unknown, where every weakness becomes an open door for forces that should never be disturbed. Those who succeed in subjugating the demons and connecting with their guardian angel gain access to knowledge that transcends human understanding, but the cost of attempting it is unimaginable. Aleister Crowley abandoned it, and those who have dabbled with parts of the ritual have paid a price ranging from paranoia and madness to the complete disappearance of their lives as they once knew them. This is not just a myth or superstition, it is a process that has left tangible marks on the history of the occult. So the ultimate question is it worth the risk? For most, the answer is a resounding no, but some believe that the reward justifies the danger. The true knowledge can only be attained by staring into the eyes of darkness and refusing to blink. And what do you think? Is this ritual a doorway to power or a curse disguised as enlightenment? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more content on the most dangerous grimoire in history, support this video with a like and subscribe to the channel.